Welcome into the channel. I'm Cody Stoots. Let's talk some Texans, shall we? Nico Collins, the topic today, and how exactly he turned into the standout wide receiver that he's been for the Houston Texans through 4 games. Some of the signs for Nico Collins' breakout, how he has been able to break out and take it to the next level here in his 3rd season in the NFL. And what's next for Nico Collins in his quest to become the number 1 wide receiver for this team, become a star wide receiver. He certainly showcased star potential so far through 4 games. We're going to talk about it. Would appreciate a thumbs up on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and check out in the description down below Houston Football, where I do all my writing about the Houston Texans. Nico Collins, what a fantastic start to his season. He is just 54 yards away from beating his previous season high in yardage. Every touchdown he scores from this moment on will be a new season high in touchdowns for Nico Collins. The first 2 seasons for Nico Collins, they were a bit disappointing, especially when you think about how wide receivers start to break out as 2nd round and 3rd round picks quicker than ever. Nico Collins got hurt early on his rookie year. He also got hurt last year. And just the consistency, just the talent, and what he had showcased in college and why Nick Caserio traded up into the 3rd round to select him just hadn't been on display on a consistent basis. But Nico Collins showed up for the 2023 season here in training camp, and basically from the word go, Collins was fantastic in training camp. We think about all the times we talked about Nico Collins being the best wide receiver in training camp, standing out, catching the long bombs from CJ Stroud in training camp. It felt like almost every day we had something to talk about from Nico Collins, but that had been something Nico Collins had showcased already in his career. He was always a very good practice player. And so how is it going to translate to the regular season? Well, if you believe DeMeco Ryans, the head coach of the Houston Texans, a lot of why we're seeing this success in the regular season started with the hard work that Nico Collins put in before the season got started.
I saw the things he did in OTAs and training camp. Right, he was making a ton of big plays right in training camp, OTA. So it's not surprising that he's doing that when it comes to the games. Like he's been consistent, right? He's took care of himself. He's been healthy. He's been out there every day working hard at it, and it shows, right? Really good hands. He's running off the ball like we want him to, making big-time catches for his big-time plays, and just really proud of the work that he put in the offseason, and now everyone gets to see that work, right, come to life here.
You get to see the work come to life, and come to life it has. Nico Collins has been fantastic for this team. How exactly has he been succeeding? Well, he's very physical once he gets the ball in his hands. That's been a big element of Collins' success this season. You think about against Jacksonville right before halftime when he was able to break a couple of tackles. It looked like he was about to score. Ultimately, the Texans were able to get the field goal off before half. And then even against the Pittsburgh Steelers, he did the same thing. He broke a couple of tackles on back-to-back plays, actually, and it looked like Collins was going to score maybe on both of those. He is a more physical player with the ball in his hands. That's one of the biggest things that you'll see as a difference from Nico Collins, but how he's being used is different as well. It felt like if you think about 2022, Nico Collins just constantly was throwing the ball over on the sideline, where the sideline can be an additional defender against him. And sometimes those passes were short. Sometimes those passes were so far above his head that even Yao Ming couldn't have caught those, thanks Davis Mills and Kyle Allen. And ultimately, it just didn't feel like they trusted Nico Collins the first 2 years to go in there, win over the middle, have success over the middle, go beat his man one-on-one by running a crisp route and then catch the ball over the middle. It felt like the Texans kind of put him in a box. You're tall. You're a big guy. Okay, we'll just run down the sideline and beat the defender for a jump ball. Simple as that. That's what it felt like they primarily did with Nico Collins in the first couple of years of his career. And then Bobby Slowick came in here, put together the style of offense that he has, and has Nico Collins running the ball over the middle. Beat a guy quick off the line and catch the ball. Beat a guy down the field and come across the field and catch the ball. And heck, even with CJ Stroud's rollout potential, Collins is never out of a play because he just keeps going and going. You think about one of those sideline plays from the Pittsburgh game. CJ Stroud rolled out. Nico Collins started on the left side of the offense and ran across the entire field, and then CJ Stroud was going to tuck it. Next thing you know, he sees Nico Collins. He hits Collins. He's beating DBs with impressive route running. He's taken that to another level. He's having a lot of success. The offense supports him better. And most of all, perhaps most of all amongst this, and I want to give Nico Collins a tremendous amount of credit for the success that he's had this year. But my goodness, isn't it easier to play wide receiver when CJ Stroud's your quarterback and not Davis Mills and some of the other guys that Nico Collins has had to catch the football from? I mean, CJ Stroud just raises the floor for these guys and takes the ceiling out of the equation. How good can Nico Collins be going forward? That is a question that is hard to answer in a good way because CJ Stroud has brought so much to the table with Nico Collins. And part of the success that CJ Stroud has had has been being able to get the ball to, going into this week, the NFL's 5th leading receiver in Nico Collins. I'm really interested to see exactly how the Atlanta Falcons attack Nico Collins. We mentioned Collins with a lot of success against yards after catch. Well, the Falcons are one of the best teams in football in stopping yards after catch. They previously have had their top corner travel with wide receivers, so you would think that A.J. Terrell gets an opportunity to play against Nico Collins quite a bit in this game. And what's next for Nico Collins and this offense? Well, I'll let Bobby Slowick handle this one. Hey, Bobby Slowick, when teams start keying on Nico Collins, when teams start trying to take him out of the equation, what's next for the Texans offense?
It's different variety of coverages you're looking to go against. And, when teams are possibly trying to take away or double a receiver, that's always something that goes into it. And a lot of what we do when we structure plays is we just want answers so the quarterback can go out and play pretty fast and get to his answer as quick as he can. And a lot of times when they overplay something, they open something else up. So we'll have offsets to that if they do decide to double any of our receivers, really, whether it's Nico, Tank, or Robert, situation dependent. And that's something we always think about every week, that really until they make that adjustment, and then our goal is to make them pay until they can no longer make that adjustment.
Let me summarize kind of what Bobby Slowick talked about there with the approach to Nico Collins and maybe doubling him on Sunday to try to take him away from CJ Stroud. Bobby Slowick basically said, mess around and find out with this offense. And you think about some of Nico's games where he hasn't been super impressive. He's been a part of the offense all 4 games. But Tank Dell had a big game against Jacksonville. Nico Collins did not have a big game against Jacksonville. And it feels like this offense, the way it's built, the guys that they do trust, Bobby Slowick talked about them there, Tank Dell, Nico Collins, and Robert Woods. Not to mention John Mechie's coming along. Dalton Schultz, Brevin Jordan have contributed a little bit. And heck, the Texans even threw the ball to the running backs a little bit last week against the Pittsburgh Steelers. You start to think about all that, and it becomes very difficult to see how a team would just key in on Nico Collins, give him so much attention that they're committing an extra defender to him when guys like Tank Dell have been as dangerous as they've been. Robert Woods has been solid and consistent and reliable this whole season so far. So for Nico Collins going forward, I don't expect actually a lot of double teams. I don't expect a lot of extra attention just because that may burn the opposing defense the way this Texans offense has played and the success that they've had. So it'll be up to Nico Collins to go out there, continue to build on what he's been doing. And you start thinking about some of these teams, some of the older defensive backs that Nico Collins is going to get the opportunity to go against. Some of the teams that have had trouble stopping the pass to this point. And man, the sky is the limit for Nico Collins. And I don't know that we're done with Nico Collins, the sideline deep threat master that the team thought he was the past couple of years. Sure, he's winning over the middle. He's winning quick. He's winning on intermediate routes, and he's taking routes and turning them into big plays in the passing game. Don't be surprised here in the next couple of weeks if we get some of that throwback Nico Collins offense down the sideline, just, streaking down there every now and then, just to keep those DBs honest and just to keep DBs that may have trouble with Nico Collins and his physicality and what he brings to the table, just to keep those players honest, and then go out there and have the success that he has been having. In summary, Nico Collins has been fantastic to start this year. There's no reason to believe that he's going to slow down. The only concern is the durability, which was an issue the first couple of seasons, but Nico Collins has been nowhere near the injury report to this point. So if he's playing every week, he is a fantastic element of this Texans offense. Kudos to CJ Stroud for finding him and trusting him as much as he does. Kudos to Bobby Slowick for putting Nico Collins in positions that are easier for Nico Collins to succeed. So what's next for Nico Collins? Well, I go back to the summarization of Bobby Slowick's comments about trying to take him away this year. For Nico Collins, you want to try to defend him? Mess around and find out just how good Nico Collins can be. Mess around with the thumbs up button on this video. Subscribe to the channel. I would appreciate that as well. And check out Houston Football for all my writing on the Houston Texans. www.houfootball.com or in the link in the description down below. It's where you can check that out. Appreciate you watching the video. Can't wait till we talk Texans again soon.